So today we're going to go a little bit deeper into our discussion about animal tracking for the Lenape Indians. Right now I'm at Hawes Elementary School in Ridgewood, New Jersey. If you look off to the left, you'll see some of the lower fields and upper fields, the baseball fields. And as I look to the right, you'll see some of the deeper woods. This is the transition area right between the two that many of the herbivores tend to hang out. And this is where they find a lot of their food, some of the plants that they eat. And as I take a little bit closer look, you'll start to notice that maybe some of these branches and trees have been bitten off. And these are some of the chews that some of the Lenape will search for when looking for wildlife. And when they identify the chews, they know that the animals are nearby, and therefore they know they have this area to hunt in. We're going to go a bit deeper into the woods now to see if we can find other signs of life. Maybe some rubs against some tree limbs, maybe some chews deeper in. But generally, as you go deeper in, we won't see too many of the smaller herbivores anymore. They tend to eat on that fringe or that transition zone. But we might start to see other signs of life, perhaps where deer have made lays where they will sleep, or maybe runs or tracks that they have left when walking around the woods. So right now I'm just looking around the ground, see if I can find any deer tracks. Right now that looks like tracks from some of the kids here. But if we can't find tracks, we might be able to locate some deer scat, which would allow you or enable you to know that they're nearby. Alright, we're going to go over to a section in a minute where you can definitely see a run or a trail that was left by the deer that travel through these woods all the time. And if we follow that trail, if we're lucky, we may eventually find some deer. But right now I'm not seeing anything significant. Right here we can potentially see a rub, but that also may just be the bark falling off. Sometimes it's tough to tell. But Lenape had a difficult time, or a difficult task, having to find food. And their life was much more complicated than ours in several ways. They didn't have grocery stores to shop in. They had to hunt their own food. They had to locate these animals first, and then sneak up, stalk them, and eventually get them. Now here you'll see a trail that leads all the way through. And it's pretty clear because none of the leaves have stayed in place. So anybody that has walked past or any animals that have walked past have continued to clear out this path. And the path, as you look down the woods, goes all the way down and leads to a quiet area back deeper in the woods, which you may be able to find some deer families back there. As the Lenape did this, as they hunted, they would be away from their families or their clans for days, maybe weeks at a time. And in the meantime, they needed a place to stay. So they would start to create temporary shelters or lean-to shelters. These were a bit different than their wigwam homes or their longhouses that they usually lived in. These were more particularly just made out of sticks and bark and leaves, kind of all structured together and thrown together. The leaves were placed on top to keep them warm in the inside. This is an example of a lean-to shelter that students in the past had made. You can see the leaves piled in on the bottom too, to make almost a carpet to keep their bodies warm from the cold ground as well. But you can see this V shape that they made with the sticks, and they're all supporting each other. And then they lay the leaves on top, like I said, for the warmth, but also to keep out the water as well, right? And that's how they spent so much time away from their families hunting. They stayed in these shelters.